Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started. I just want to take a minute to welcome you. My name's Eloy Oakley. I have the pleasure of being the president here at Long Beach City College. So welcome to Long Beach City College for those of you who are joining us for the first time. I know some of you may be joining us for the first time. For the faculty that have been here the last couple of symposiums, welcome back. It's great to have you here. And it's wonderful for me to be able to see you all gather. This is really what the Long Beach College Promise is about. It's about you, it's about your students, and it's about doing everything we can as institutions, as a community, to help our students succeed. So thank you for taking your time to come and meet with your colleagues and talk about our students. So I'm not going to take too much time right now because I want to give you all the time available to meet with your colleagues and to listen to all the great stories. But I do want to take a second just to again thank everyone at Long Beach Unified, the great faculty at Long Beach Unified. You really make us proud. Thank you to our partners at Cal State University Long Beach, and of course, thank you to the faculty here at Long Beach City College who continue to come out and bust their rear ends to make things happen for our students. We have lots to celebrate in our community. I have the pleasure of talking to a lot of people about what you guys are doing right now. And it's amazing to me sometimes, I'm sure amazing to you, that this becomes such a big deal that you're actually meeting. But believe me, this is the anomaly, unfortunately. You may know that Senator Steinberg brought the California Senate to Long Beach Unified, to Cabrillo High School, and here to Long Beach City College to talk specifically about what you all are doing here today. And last week, 4 trustees of the CSU were up in the Rules Committee. For those of you who follow politics, you know CSU trustees need to be, their appointment needs to be affirmed by the Senate Rules Committee. So they were there, and Senator Steinberg told each and every one of them that the California Senate expects them to replicate what you're doing here at every single CSU in the system. So congratulate yourselves for being here today, for doing what you do, and for being really a model for the rest of the state. You may not see in front of you the change that you're making, but just by being here this afternoon, you're making a huge change in our 3 systems. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mark Taylor, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you all. My role here is purely sort of logistic-wise. So hopefully you enjoyed the refreshments and the reception. That's just a little teaser for the dinner. So the dinner, after we had the breakout sessions, the dinner will be right afterwards. Excellent. So we're going to spend a little bit of time here together so everybody has an overview of Common Core and the changes that's coming. Then you'll break up into the 4 discipline areas, which are sort of language arts, all of the English-related disciplines, mathematics, science, and social science, and history. We'll have room numbers at the end. We'll bring the group leaders up and identify them so you sort of know where you're going. And then, again, dinner across the courtyard afterwards. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Babette Bankin, who is a faculty member in the math department from Cal State Long Beach, who's going to get our program going. So, Babette, it's all yours.
Thanks. Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to launch this off for the evening, and I hope that I found some things that are informational yet also entertaining. I have a cool video to show you later. So I did keep in mind that we've all had a long day and we don't really want to sit and be talked at too much. So part of what we really wanted to set the stone tonight is to think about this continuum from preschool through teacher credentialing and the workforce. And we're all connected, and I've kind of tried to carve out a diagram later of what that means from Babette's perspective. But we are connected. We all have to make sure everything's aligned throughout the P16 curriculum, plus beyond into workforce, into credentialing, career. And the idea is for us to come together today to look at what's on the horizon the next couple years and make sure we all go back to our respective sites and think about what our contributions need to be in that regard. So we have a lot of new innovations with curriculum, assessment, and pedagogy coming now. We have new national standards. We have the Common Core state standards, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later. They are focused on mathematics and language arts. Those are going to be required in California, and we're transitioning to that next year. We also have the next generation science standards, which were just the final version, and the draft was adopted last week. And those are on the horizon as well, and I'll tell you more about how those are a little different in a minute. We also have supporting assessments for these new standards that are going to take place in 2 years. Specifically at the K-12 level, a year from fall, they're going to be taking effect. And that's something we all have to really be cognizant of across that continuum. We're also going to see changes to other types of assessment, the SAT, the CSAT exams. The speaker that I'm going to show you in a minute, David Coleman, has just been chosen as the new president for the College Board. He was one of the architects of the Common Core state standards, and he is going to be overseeing the change of the SAT exam. We also have a lot of expanding technologies, which really do need to have a place in as we revisit our curriculum and assessment and pedagogy. I've just listed a few here that we're sort of thinking about right now. On our campus, we're talking a lot about flipping instruction, which is a new learning format. We have smart classrooms on campus. We have a lot of new teaching tools that we can use within our current instruction regardless of the format. We are looking at a lot of hybrid and online courses and a lot of internet-based instruction that can be within any of these formats. So thinking about all of this exciting stuff that's on the horizon, it's really a time for change and action. And I know all of us have been thinking about it the past couple years. So I found a video clip for us by David Coleman. As I told you, he's one of the principal architects of the Common Core state standards and is now going to be president of College Board. So I'm going to let you watch that. I think he does a nice job of sort of giving some background on the standards.
Good morning. Kelly talked about superheroes, which gives me the license to talk about fairy tales. So I want you to imagine another world, not the one you live in which Democrats and Republicans work together to solve problems. I have an outrageous story to tell you. A few years ago, Democratic governors and Republican governors got together because they faced a shared problem and decided to do something about it. In this period in our country's history where being bipartisan has been easy and popular, they chose to take the easy road and put aside their state differences to agree on action in common because they felt it was essential to face the demands of education they saw. That is what happened with the Common Core standards, which now 45 states, 46 including LA, and other districts have adopted. And if you don't think that's remarkable, nearly as remarkable as seeing the mice at the end of the day, I'd ask you to think about what other thing during the last 5 years that's been significant has been bipartisan in this country. There are 450 people in the room, so I figure if there's something, one of you saw it. It's interesting, right? So what is it? What pulled them together across state lines to act? And they saw overwhelming evidence that moved them forward. That evidence was the following. 3 facts that were so striking that they got the governors and the chief state school officers to work together on developing the common standards. They were the following. The first is the terrifying fact that so many of our students, no matter what state they're in, even if they get a diploma in high school, that is those that don't drop out and those that succeed academically, then go on to face remediation in college. That is, since they are not ready for the demands of a first-year college course, they're placed in remediation courses to catch up. The only problem is for low-income and minority students in particular, but for all students in general, remediation is often a trap from which they never escape. So it was evident that there was something wrong with the standards students were being held to if, at the end of achieving those standards, they were demonstrably not ready for the demands of college and career that followed. The second problem was that governors realized, as we all do, that their students are no longer competing just within their states, but obviously across them, to compete for jobs and enter college, as well as an international economy, and increasingly one of global competition. So the demands of international competition demanded that we take another look at what students could learn, so that we ensured that they were internationally benchmarked and could meet the obligations and the challenges of competing in a global economy. The third thing is a very interesting thing. All of you know, I'm sure, saw the standards movement take place over the last 20 years in this country, and it made so much sense. We should have standards, right? 48, 49 states agreed that we should have academic standards for kids and developed them in good faith, and then we developed assessments aligned to them, and it all makes enormous sense. The only problem is those standards became vast and vague and endless. They became like telephone books. You might wonder how that happened 49 times. That is, there was not a single state that had elegant, clear standards for its students. Although there was a lot of great state work, every state set of standards swelled larger and larger. Why would that be? How many of you, if you could tell me, have served on a committee of any sort in your lives? The only way to end the meeting is to include everyone's stuff, right? That's the only way to get out of the room, right? Sure, we'll put in my stuff, we'll put in your stuff, and now we're done. Think about it in terms of teachers and kids, though, because the difference between standards authors and teachers and students is that teachers and students care about time. It speeds up things as a standards author when you add something and give someone their part. But if you're serious, you're taking away time from teachers and students to practice and do the work of achieving those standards. So what happened to standards is they became an unrealistic wish list rather than a job description, rather than a course of action. What happened is that our assessments became a broad survey of a Russian roulette of topics in English language arts and mathematics, where teachers were kind of guessing and racing to expose their students to what they might see on the exam. The one area of mathematical performance in which we confidently lead the world is the size of our textbooks. So the consequences of this explosion of standards were profound. Hence the rallying cry of the Common Standards movement, fewer, clearer, higher. There was a desperate and felt need for a body of common standards that focused on what matters most for kids' success, to give teachers the time to teach and students the time to practice. And at the core of this was the idea that only evidence could allow us to focus on what mattered most and also dare to cut back on what was less essential. So I'm going to give you, if it's okay with you, 2 pieces of advice about implementing the Common Core. The first is that you are doomed. Forgive me for that. That's a technical term, to be doomed. You are doomed if this is one more initiative piled on what you are already doing. So it doesn't make much sense that in a world where we're evaluating teachers more strenuously, we've got existing state tests, they're often not so hot, we've got existing state standards, that you say, good news, just what you needed was a lot more work and a set of Common Core standards to pile on top of all of that. That is not the way to get a good reception. Please remember that at the heartbeat of these standards is the eraser as well as the pen. That is, at the heart of implementing these standards faithfully over the next few years, is daring to pull back on the things that these standards deem secondary and focus relentlessly on those few things that are most essential for student success. If you succeed at this conference, hence you will understand the shifts that we are talking about. Does that make sense? That is a shift away from doing certain things to breaking forward into new ones. So you should leave with that pleasure that you get when you've got a new sense of focus and clarity and a very clear sense of what you'll stop doing. If there's nothing less to do after you've left here, we're all sunk, to put it bluntly. So please sharpen your erasers as well as your pens. Your tab.
That clip was from a presentation that he gave to the GE Foundation, and it was a group of people representing all of the states that were adopting Common Core. And from there, they then strategized which ones they were adopting and how they would supplement or not supplement. But he's a pretty dynamic speaker. I like him. So what are these Common Core state standards? I'm going to give you kind of a broad look, and then within our breakout sessions, we're going to examine more carefully what they are and what it'll entail within the classroom level. So they're national standards. They will be required for K-12 public school students. They've already been adopted, as he mentioned, by 45 US states, the District of Columbia, and 4 territories. There's a few holdouts that haven't adopted yet. You can probably guess who they are. They present greater focus, coherence, and rigor so that students are prepared for the demands of both college and career. And they are a clear outline of what students should know and be able to do. And again, the 2 primary areas that they're focused on right now are mathematics and English language arts. These are some of the things that their stressed students should be able to do, which is quite a shift from where we are with the current California standards. Huge focus on problem solving, reasoning abstractly, thinking conceptually, crafting arguments with evidence, knowing how to use tools and resources effectively, and they mention media and technology specifically, and applying all of our thinking and our skills to real-world issues and challenges. I mentioned earlier the next generation science standards, which the new draft just came out literally last week. These are voluntary right now, and they are internationally benchmarked for K-12 science. They were developed by a consortium of 26 state governments and several science and teaching groups at both the national and state levels. They are right now sort of the new vision for what we should be doing nationally, and states are in the process of adopting them. There's 3 dimensions, and that is their term dimension. There's this core domain of content, these practices that help students engage like scientists, and then these cross-cutting concepts that apply to all of the content domains, things like reasoning and proof and thinking about mass and knowledge. There's 4 core disciplinary domains. There's the physical sciences, life sciences, earth and space sciences, and then engineering, technology, and application of sciences. So a little different shift. With these new national standards, of course, there's going to be assessments, new assessments. Beginning 2 years from now, there'll be new summative assessments based on the Common Core state standards. One of the groups from which we are pulling assessments is the Smarter Balanced, and there's a great website with sample items, and we're going to be talking about assessment as well in the breakout groups. The new plan is that they will be administered every year, grades 3 through 8, and then only one time in the high school, grade 11. That, I hear this, yay, high school teachers. That will now be the benchmark for college readiness. It will replace the EAP. After the first few years of this pilot time, it's going to be administered via a computer. It's going to be a computer-assisted assessment. That is a huge change. There'll be a blend of selected response, constructed response, performance, and technology-enhanced tasks. So that is really the crux of what will be different. In addition to some varied content items, it will also be a new approach and much more broad view of assessment and tasks. Students are going to be expected to illustrate their reasoning, build arguments and proof, read and demonstrate comprehension with rigorous, and they point out the fact the text is going to be much more rigorous, and look at knowledge across standards, not just within one specific standard. So items will blend lots of content. So it's a time for us to rethink what we're doing, how we're doing it, and to make sure we're bridging those transitions across all of P16 through credentialing. Opportunity, yet also challenge. It's not going to be easy. I think we really need to, and my urge for everyone is to think about how we're all connected. For example, if the new assessments are going to be having us rethink K-12 instruction and assessment with all these new standards, then in higher ed, we're going to have to know who's coming and what skills and knowledge sets they're bringing, and how to then determine when and how they're ready. And we're going to have to change our approach to instruction in many cases. So we want to align our goals and expectations. We also want to rethink pathways. What are students coming with? Where are they headed? And what should that transition look like? And how will we determine readiness? I think we need to re-examine our process by which we judge and engage in remediation. So here's my fun diagram. It was a challenge. So, you know, we have this idea that some students start with P, some jump in at K-12. From there, some people join the workforce. Some go to community college. Some, oop, I forgot this link. Some go straight here. And some go on through teacher credentialing. And once in the workforce, some go back to these places to be teachers and or going back for additional education. We are all intimately connected in many ways. And I think it's easy when we're in our own campus or site to forget that. At this point, we thought it would be nice to have Dr. Kevin Ryan from Long Beach City College, he's in the Department of Mathematics, say a few things about what they're doing at Long Beach City College to pave this new transition. We'll have Ms. Pamela Secchi from Long Beach Unified School District say a little bit about what they're doing and have been doing within the district. And I will say a few words at the end and use just whatever minute of time we have left to say a couple things about Cal State Long Beach. I will turn over the floor to Kevin.
Hello. Unfortunately, I don't have a PhD. I have to confess. I'm just Mr. Kevin Ryan. But thank you very much. My name is Kevin Ryan. I work here at Long Beach City College. I'm a math instructor here. I love my job. I love what I do. Some things that are going on here at Long Beach City College is we're revisiting the pathways to support the transition from the K-12 to the college level coursework. We have several little projects, not little, several good-sized projects that are going on. Of course, the big one is the Long Beach College Promise. That's, as we move along, we're implementing new instructional approaches to allow for a more student-centered approach to learning. And one of the examples of that is the Math Winter Workshop that I was a part of this last January. It went about 5 weeks. And it was actually an amazing thing. There were 4 faculty members that were involved in it. There were about 160 students that participated, and 85% of them actually made it through to the end, which, if those of you who teach at college, getting that many all the way through is just, in a math class, it's just unheard of. We were blown away. 80% of those passed on to the next level, and passing on to the next level included, we had a midterm, but that was a very small piece of it. We tried to not make it grade-oriented. We wanted to make it more, can they take a test? Can they actually show their work? Can they actually get the correct answers? Can they do the application problems and so on? The exams were created by the faculty. The 4 of us made the tests, and I'm just going to talk about it for a second. I'm not going to read through this. You can read what you got there. What we did was, there are a couple of the issues that had come up. We used the ALEX system It's an acronym, and I don't remember what it stands for, but it's a online-based system, and the college paid for it. President Oakley footed the bill for it, so I mean he dug up the money and got it for us. So the students didn't pay anything for this. It didn't affect their GPA. It didn't affect financial aid status. It didn't affect anything except if they got with a 70% or higher on this exit exam, then they were able to satisfy the prerequisite to move on to the next level. A couple of concerns that came up, another college that had done something similar was running into problems where they would be working online with the math, and by the time they had to transition to paper, their notes were legible to them somewhat, but as far as being able to express what they had done, those math instructors in here, you know how important it is that they can logically walk through a problem and get to the solution so that someone can follow that. We were very concerned about that. So we did have a midterm exam that was written with a practice exam that was involved, where we pulled them aside and actually walked through the problems, showing them what we want to see, what we're looking for, and so on. In addition to that, we had the problem of the hour, which was never a problem of the hour. We were lucky if we got like 2 done in a day. But we would have an instructor say, don't look at your computers, get a piece of paper out, hand write out what we're doing here. And there were tutors up, a huge room, and there were 4 or 5 tutors up at whiteboards actually writing out what the instructor was saying as they were going through, just making it very, very clear. And so that made that transition into writing on paper very, very smooth. So we think that helped with that. One of the big things that was helpful, this is all coming from the students, the faculty, we would get there, we had someone help us out, they would go online, look on Alex, what are the students needing as far as they're not moving on to the next topic. We would find out what those topics were, and Rich Weber, my department head, was there as well. We would come in, and the person would say, Kevin, go do a workshop on this topic, go. And so I would make the announcement, 10, 15, 20 students would come into there, was voluntary, and I would just go through a mini lesson, answering whatever questions, going through a short lecture, and the students absolutely loved that. That combined with them always working on the background on the computer system, that combination just sort of made just this perfect storm. So it was really, really nice. I think I hit everything. So. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Pamela Secchi. I am the Director of Curriculum Instruction and Professional Development with Long Beach Unified School District. I'm very excited to talk to you about Common Core. We have been living and breathing the Common Core for 2 years now. And like an orchestra, learning a challenging new symphony, bringing our Common Core standards to life in our schools has been taking time and energy. But these standards provide the same sheet music for all of our systems across the United States. And that has given us, for the first time, an opportunity to collaborate in a real meaningful sense with other systems across the United States. And our district in particular has been fortunate to avail ourselves of a collaboration with student achievement partners that Babette mentioned, and through the Aspen Institute. We're also members of CORE, which is now up to 9 or 10 school districts across California, and our focus is on implementing the Common Core state standards in our schools. So these standards are the foundation for remodeling our educational system, keeping the best of what we have, and replacing outdated ways of learning. In Long Beach, we're well positioned to do this work. In 2008, our Board of Education adopted the Academic Career Success Initiative, which is focused on preparing students for post-secondary education and success in the workplace. We also have in place linked learning at our high schools, which is the engine that drives that high school reform. And linked learning is a set of strategies that focuses on academic preparation and professional skills in the real world workplace. And then thirdly, the seamless education K-16 collaboration that started back in the mid-90s was focused on preparing students to be more successful in college and provided the springboard, the foundation for our work here today. So as David Coleman clearly stated, the Common Core state standards require a shift in teaching and learning. And one of the most critical learnings for those of us in the district working in the curriculum office is the idea that if we simply swap out our 1997 standards and replace them with the Common Core state standards, we have missed the boat entirely. Because the Common Core state standards require a systematic change in the way that we deliver instruction and the way our students learn. So our transition plan this year has been focusing not on a swap out of standards or an examination of the standards, but rather a focus on what happens in the classroom, the shifts in the teaching and learning. So in English language arts, we've been working with our teachers to help them incorporate into their instruction more text-dependent questions, TDQs as we refer to them, that require students to read a text closely, determine what it says explicitly, and make logical inferences from it. We've also started to integrate more nonfiction and complex text into our classroom instruction, and then focus writing instructions substantially on writing to inform and structuring an argument, not only writing stories. And these are at the crux of the changes that are in English language arts and literacy standards. In mathematics, we've been focusing our instruction on the mastery of a few key topics, building a good foundation, and emphasizing the key topics in each of the grade levels. The standards also require, and our teachers are learning how to emphasize problem solving and real-world application. Sounds a lot like our Academic and Career Success Initiative, Linked Learning, and our K-16 goals of preparing students to be successful in college and in the workplace. So the implications for higher education are far-reaching with these standards. There's now a new profile of what it means to be college and career ready. Smarter Balance, which Babette mentioned, is the assessment consortia to which California belongs and is designing our new assessments to measure students' knowledge and skills a la Common Core. Their claims describe a college and career-ready student in both English language arts, literacy, and mathematics. So in reading, the claim is that an 11th grader who is college and career ready can read closely and analytically to comprehend a range of increasingly complex literary and informational text. These students can produce effective and well-grounded writing for a range of purposes and audiences. They can employ effective speaking and listening skills for a range of purposes and audiences, and can engage in research and inquiry to investigate topics and to analyze, integrate, and present information. Now, these are the claims that are being used in a process of evidence design to create the new assessment. So in our district, looking at these claims and the sample released items that we've seen, we've been focusing our current formative, interim, and summative assessment activities to give both teachers and students an idea of the rigor and format of the new assessment items. And some of the activities that we've been engaged in to do that in English language arts and literacy are the Basel and Anthology Alignment Project, which actually started with some of the people in Student Achievement Partners who acknowledge that our current anthologies do not offer the type of text-dependent questions and activities that our students need. And so they've come across states to write text-dependent questions aligned to our current anthologies, acknowledging that new materials aligned to Common Core are not readily available to us, nor do we have the funding for that. And so we are participating in both the Basel alignment, which is our K-5 program, and the anthology alignment at 612 to write the text-dependent questions, and we've also used that as a springboard to redesign our lesson delivery. We're participating in a pilot through ConnectEd that is focusing on the Literacy Design Collaborative Framework. That's a tool that uses a task with an essential question and involves research that students will then produce a culminating project. Performance mapping culminative tasks. We've been using performance mapping in our Links Learning small pathways as a way to bring about collaboration and integration of various disciplines. And the different departments work together to map out their content, see natural times when they can integrate, and produce a culminating task that incorporates the content of each of the participating departments. They look a lot like something that you would see in the Literacy Design Collaborative. So these are things that we have in place that we are leveraging to align them to the Common Core. In mathematics, the students that you will be seeing that will be college and career ready will be able to explain and apply mathematical concepts and carry out mathematical procedures with precision and fluency. They will be able to frame and solve a range of complex problems in pure and applied mathematics, clearly and precisely construct viable arguments to support their own reasoning and to critique the reasoning of others. Really different and new, isn't it? And students will be able to analyze complex real-world scenarios and can use mathematical models. Modeling is very big in the Common Core to interpret and solve problems. So some of the activities that our math curriculum leader, coaches, and teachers are working on are the MARS tasks, which are middle school tasks, Shell Center lessons, and classroom challenges. These are formative lesson activities that span multiple days that involve students in the skills that we are saying are found in the claims and provide formative assessment tools for the teachers as they move the students towards proficiency. Our math folks are also participating in the pilot Math Design Collaborative, which uses the tools of the MARS and Shell Center lessons. The classroom challenges, we've done a lot of work to bring them to life in Long Beach and provide additional tools for our teachers. So these claims really describe the new profile of the students that you'll be seeing. So our goals as a collective group here today, for us in Long Beach, it's important to connect with you in institutions of higher education regarding the expectations for entry-level college courses to see if our expectations align with what students need after graduation. And our goals, as well as those of California, are that the institutions of higher education will recognize the SBAC 11th grade assessment as a valid measure of college readiness as defined by Common Core. It will agree on COMET's performance standards in ALA literacy and math for college readiness. And I wanted to clarify, or maybe get on my soapbox for a minute. We have standards in English language arts. Those are also standards in literacy in the content area. So science and history teachers, we are all in this literacy together. And finally, that you will use the SBAC assessments as evidence that students are ready for credit-bearing coursework and can be exempted from remediation. So it's a wild journey, but I've been in education for a while, and I have never been so energized and so confident that this is the right thing for our students.
Thank you, Kevin and Pamela. We're already at the end of our time, so I'm just going to make a couple quick remarks representing Cal State Long Beach. The first is that for the last 3 years, actually, we've been re-examining our courses, both undergraduate and credential, for prospective teachers. We've been implementing within the materials and the textbooks things that are moving us toward these new national standards in both mathematics, language arts, as well as science. We've been providing a lot of grant-supported and institution-supported professional development for our faculty, both full-time and part-time. And we've been revising syllabi and also standard course outlines to align and move us in that direction. Additionally, in the courses for practicing teachers, both on campus as part of formal graduate programs, as well as within professional development programs that are in the district right now, we've really been looking to align the materials as well as the syllabi and the focus. Additionally, those of us who work with graduate students and in the district with professional development have been undergoing professional development across campus. And finally, ongoing, we collect data relative to our math remediation program because it is fairly extensive. Over 50% of the students who come to the Cal States, particularly Long Beach, do need remediation in either math or science or math or language, English. Some of the things we've done the last couple years, we've offered more summer remediation, both 1 week and 6 week courses, so that hopefully students can start fall of freshman year on a level playing field. We've added 1 unit to a lot of our pre-bac courses so that we can do more with less time. We constantly revisit how we determine whether or not a student needs remediation, and that we'll have to keep doing now with these changes. We've had a lot of professional development for our faculty who work with the pre-bac courses. Within the math department, we actually have a core of TAs who work with pre-bac students, and they meet every week and receive professional development. And a lot of them are our K-12 teachers, so they're coming with a wealth of experience. We're excited that over 88% of our students are completing math remediation within that first year, and therefore are able to continue at Cal State Long Beach. Nationally, the statistics at about 75%. Lastly, we're really trying to keep our collaborations with both the community college and our local districts tight and ongoing. We try to align curriculum. We try to talk about standards, both what K-12 has for them, what we have for them, and so forth. And we try to be in the district and have meetings with community colleges quite a bit. So we try to be proactive in that regard. It helps us as well. Thought that was fun. So do we have questions for any of us and or comments? We can take about a minute for that. We were just that good. So at this point, we're going to break out into the content areas. These are the respective room numbers. Could I have at least one designee of someone who's overseeing these sessions come up and wave your hand, and you can kind of lead us?